0. Hey everybody, welcome to Burnout Box, Season 2, Episode 28. Also known as Rebecca's real age, 28. Just kidding.
What?
No, nobody believes Rebecca is the age she is.
Do you want to go and tell everybody how old I am?
They think she's much younger. She has a birthday coming up, though.
So do you.
I do. I'm going to be old.
Justin's over the hill.
So, tell us what you got going on related to superchargers this fine Thursday afternoon, because that is what we were talking about today. How far supercharger technology has come since we've been doing this.
Oh, God.
Nick Bruno says you look like you're 23.
I will take it, and I asked someone to put it on my license, too.
Make it legal.
Travis Schatz on the line says good afternoon. Redline Riot says hello. Tim wants to know which VMP car would be the best to storm Area 51 with.
Ooh. I know what I'm going with. You know what? I've got a snap decision, and I'm going with it.
We've got to build like a roll cage, like an exterior exoskeleton.
Oh God, you're speaking to Justin's heart with this exoskeleton.
And like some, bulletproof panels and just, all kinds of crazy stuff. Maybe a cow catcher. That's popular to fling aliens away.
What is it popular with?
With like zombie apocalypse vehicles.
With yourself. It's popular with yourself.
You could make something really cool if you were going to storm Area 51.
I feel like I talk to a fair amount of car people. You're the only one that ever wants to put cow catchers on anything. It's popular with yourself.
And I would think that depending on how many occupants you were going to have, you'd want to have tinfoil hats for everyone.
So, for real, RF-150. It's fast, and you can put shit in it.
Oh, okay, yep. Yeah.
Jay Witt says, looking to get my 2012 supercharged soon. Induction Addiction says, we the people want to know about the supercharger for the 18 plus.
You seem very tight-lipped.
How are their stock clutches on 7 to 12 GT500s?
We got a lot of questions, and this is supposed to be about superchargers.
What they asked about.
Yeah, the 18, 19 superchargers. Gosh. So the 18 kit is going to be different than anything we've ever produced. And the 07 to 12 GT500 reference to the clutch, which that's a good question. We'll get to that. Makes me think about the M122 that we put up on the title card, right, Chris? Did we use that?
Yep.
Yeah, so that was that's ancient technology.
Ancient technology.
At this point.
The Mayans were using that.
Yeah, they were using it to build supercharged horses to climb rocks to the top of hills and stuff like that. So if you can just imagine, if anybody can imagine that, maybe draw a picture of it for us.
Andy.
We got a lot of different stuff to go into, and we've got a hungry, sleepy baby right here in Rebecca's lap. My hungry, sleepy baby. So, clutches. You have a lot of opinions about clutches because you drive a lot of cars.
I have a lot of opinions about clutches that I'm not willing to share, so, yeah. Fine, yeah.
It chatters too much. It's too heavy.
I don't know that I've ever complained about a clutch being too heavy. I do remember the clutch. Both Rick and John thought that I would not be able to push in the clutch on their Cobras. They're wrong. I mean, and that was before I had kids, so I was literally 92 pounds soaking wet.
Now you're like 100 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
But much stronger now.
Yeah, I wasn't lifting kids all day long.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was able to.
So
clutch leg strong.
Clutches in GT500s is interesting because there was a lot of drama about when the cars first came out. There was The clutch was very grabby and chattered, and then
Maybe this is why Ford went away from the manual transmission.
Ford took the manual transmission from you because you whined too much. And I remember burning up the clutch in my GT500 at 4,000 miles because I hot lapped the car at Gainesville Raceway, and I drove home.
Oh, I remember you calling me. I was pregnant with Carter, and I was gonna bring you the trailer. I was like, I'll hook up the trailer and come get you.
I drove it home, and I took the highway and the back roads or something. But whenever I came to a stop, I had to like turn the car off or something like that. So.
Do you remember when we had to do the throwout bearing in my car?
Yeah.
Yep.
In the driveway when I was dating you in your car, Rebecca's had a '95 manual transmission Mustang that she was driving when I met her, and
it had 100,000 miles on it, and
we got stuck at my house one night. We had to wake up Sunday morning and put a new throwout bearing. So, real advice on clutches: GT500s, love Mantics and RXTs. I'd say those are the options we have the most experience with. She was so happy at lunch too.
She was.
We went to Tijuana Flats for lunch.
she's ready to go to sleep.
Oh, I'm actually really good at putting her to sleep. If you follow Rebecca's Instagram, you've seen the pictures.
Nobody here follows my Instagram because it's my private Instagram.
Oh, yep, that's true.
You're not invited. Sorry.
So, anyways, Carrie, are we getting more questions rolling in?
Do you have a number of questions or comments on a variety of topics? Can your supercharger produce more power than my single turbo setup?
Depends.
I need a little more info.
Yeah. If it's an EcoBoost single turbo, there's not a lot there.
So today's topic was to talk about how supercharger technology has changed. Mm-hmm. Do you want to touch upon that some, and we can then hit some of the non-related questions towards the end?
Hey, this pulley's really cold from having a Coke can sit in it. So this is our largest pulley that we make for.
That is huge. That's like a dinner plate.
Yeah. You could eat out of that pulley. You could dip your chips and
You could have
guacamole.
chowder in there.
We could have taken this to Tijuana Flats with us and hey, fill it up with queso. I mean, it would all leaked out the bottom, but you know. So, anyways, that pulley, the Gen 3R moves so much air that even with that pulley, it still makes 12 pounds of boost. But that is perfect for a stock or mildly modified Coyote, and we recently put out a video on that. And pull up the dyno graph that I sent you, Chris. I was telling everybody that it's really interesting. A Coyote Gen 3R on low boost, Gen 1 Coyote with our latest Gen 3R supercharger makes about the same power as my GT500 back in the day with 20 pounds of boost from a 2.3 Ford Racing TVS supercharger. And when you overlay the graphs, you really get to see how the Coyote is a high horsepower monster and the GT500 is a low RPM torque monster.
Yeah.
But 12 pounds of boost versus like 20 pounds of boost on a larger displacement engine, a GT500 motor versus a little Coyote motor. So just one of those examples, relatable examples of how far things have come over the past 10 to 15 years. Superchargers are getting like so much more efficient. So that's my little spiel about dinner plate sized Diet Coke cup holder pulleys. What other questions do we have coming in, Carrie?
You have, let's see here. Well, Carlos says yes. Horse precision, yes. Of course, they want to know how technology has changed on the 18. Let's see what else you may have here. Clutch. I don't really have any questions per se. Robert says waiting on to install on my Gen 2R on my 12 GT500. Love that piece of hardware. I think it's a piece of beauty.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, that's
Great to hear, Robert.
So going back to the 18, I think what we would be willing to say about it at this point is it's also reaping the benefits of that increased efficiency.
Yeah. It's going to make more horsepower with less boost, which is really what efficiency is all about, and that's really a large part of how we make more power with our technology. Is not necessarily
huge displacement.
Yeah, is just efficiency and the right combination around the supercharger. Because when you design a supercharger, yes, you've got a supercharger compressing air, but how is the air getting to it? How is the air getting cooled? How is the power being transmitted through the belt system? All those things matter a lot.
Okay.
Carlos says loves my Gen 2R on my 15 and 79 millimeter boost. Casey wants to know what size pulley is that.
This is a 92 millimeter.
Benjamin says, so how has tech improved over the years?
So the supercharger itself has improved, and the way we build the supercharger kit has improved too.
Yeah, improvements all around. I mean, from the internal hardware to what we know about cases to what we know about belt design. I mean, everything.
And I think a big part of it is 10, 15 years ago, the engines weren't as good.
Yeah, I mean, you get a
The 4.6 Cobra was the cream of the crop back then. And then the GT500, and now we have the Coyote, which we've made over 1,100 wheel on a stock motor with, which is just would have been unimaginable 10 years ago.
Right?
So unimaginable.
Casey,
So,
sorry.
no, go ahead, Carrie.
I was going to say, Casey says, holy wow, 12 pounds on a 92 millimeter.
Right?
And it's a good, healthy way to make 12 pounds, if that makes any sense. It comes in, it flatlines a little bit, and then it just peaks at the end. So you're running about 10 pounds under the curve, and then just 12 pounds up top. So you're really not stressing the motor, you're bringing the boost in very gradually.
Tom Lewis would like to know, what's the parasitic power loss between the Gen 2 and the Gen 3 given the same boost level?
So that's a great question. And I should have come up with more graphs before the show, because I could have showed a lot of that, and a lot of it's already out there in our videos and other stuff that we've posted. It's about 30 to 50 rear wheel horsepower. The 265 liter rotors move air so much more effortlessly.
Tim says, have you ever thought about entering the diesel market with a supercharger?
It's been talked about, but those people are pretty happy with their turbos. Those people, yeah. So I think we're going to leave well enough alone at this point.
Says the man that daily drives a diesel vehicle, one of those people.
And it has turbo lag, not a whole lot, but a little bit. Since I tuned our RV, you can feel the turbo lag even more.
I have not driven it since you've tuned it, so.
It had a lot of turbo lag to begin with.
I noticed
honestly.
turbo lag,
Yeah.
honestly, on my truck, and it should be one of the best situations for turbo lag, but I still notice it, and it irritates me.
Okay, I'm going to throw these out there. Feel free to do what you want, but of course they're with the 18 plus release. Will your 18 style blower fit on top of the Roush blower for the F-150? I hear the intercooler on the Roush blower is not all that good. And then another person says, can you give any updates at all on the 18 plus release? And there was one more, hold on, I think, that also was asking for information on the 18 plus. So pretty much people are definitely chomping at the bit to get whatever nugget you're willing to drop. Morsel, if anything.
So there's a big demand for 18 up information. You know what? I sent Chris the picture that one of our buddies has of a GT500 blower.
Yes.
So let's talk
saw
about that in a minute. You want to talk about the head unit question as far as a Roush?
I don't know how much to give away.
Well, I think we can safely tell them that you're going to need to replace the whole supercharger system. Our VMP 18-up supercharger kit is not going to be interchangeable with any other supercharger kits for a Coyote. So
yeah, fair enough.
everything, like, to package everything, it has to be tightly integrated, so everything's unique. The one thing that is shared with our older supercharger kits is the pulley. And there's some similarities in the throttle body, but we had to make a little bit of a change just for packaging reasons. So that answers the questions about the Roush one. It won't be able to just be a head unit upgrade or anything like that, unfortunately. What other nuggets do we want to leak out there? That doesn't give away the farm just yet.
See, I'm like, this is where I get in trouble because I'm a notoriously terrible liar. So I'm afraid if I talk at all, that I just
tell everybody everything.
Yeah. So that's why I'm so hesitant to say it. Like, I have to defer to you because otherwise I'm like, yeah, I'll tell you everything about it. Just don't say it that I told you. But then we have it on video, and yeah, I'm in a big issue.
So I think we can tell them some things without telling them some things.
See, that's something that I cannot do. I fail miserably at.
Chris, cue the 2020 GT500 supercharger. So this was posted by a friend of ours. I'm not going to mention who he is, but it was essentially in the public domain at that point, shared on some Facebook groups and stuff. So he shouldn't be mad that it's out here. That's the 2020. That's what's often called a blow-up style supercharger. Now, I can tell you that if we were designing an 18-up supercharger kit, that one was designed to run at like 12 to 13 pounds of boost. They hit the power target in the 2020 GT500 and they stopped. If you want to design a supercharger kit for 20 plus pounds of boost, what would you do differently? Well, you start with the obvious. The throttle body opening's too small. The whole neck feeding the throttle body to the from the throttle body to the rotors is just too small. That supercharger is going to max out fairly early, unfortunately. Then, what else do you see wrong with that? So the brick is kind of small.
It is. It might need a little bit more cooling.
Yeah. We could just like Photoshop multiple bricks. We could begin to...
If I start saying all this, I feel incredibly guilty.
Construct one that maybe looks more proper. Well, hey, maybe that's a contest for our watchers, is to Photoshop
Photoshop this into what you think it should be.
Yes. I mean, it can be paint drawings, it could be whatever.
You could be a supercharger designer too.
Carrie's laughing.
Someone says, so basically, Justin, what you're saying is size matters, homeboys.
Size in the right places.
Tim Obis said, ha, I asked about the intercooler at the top of the design in the future, and he's sticking his tongue out.
So yeah, I mean, I think that supercharger is really cool for what they needed to do with the GT500. They needed to have a strut tower brace. So their lid's fairly low profile, and
They needed to have a strut tower.
they needed to put a Cobra on top of it.
Yes, yeah, I had to.
And so, they realized over the old GT500 design, they realized some efficiencies.
Otherwise, Carol Shelby will haunt the office halls at night.
And they needed to have the throttle body up front and just some other little stuff, but it's definitely purpose-built for that application, and we're building our 1819 supercharger kit for just raw freaking horsepower. I feel like there's a line from a movie that I should be repeating right now.
Wouldn't know it.
America, or what were you going to say?
Go ahead.
America is built on raw, nasty, dirty horsepower, or something like
No,
that.
that's not how that goes.
What movie is that from?
It's in the very beginning of Talladega Nights, and it's a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. And she says, hang on, I'll tell you.
Do you know what the best part of this is? Is that Rebecca's the one that's telling a quote in a movie.
Well, because it's an Eleanor Roosevelt quote in Talladega Nights. There's no way. I actually have to look at it, but America is all about speed. Hot, nasty, badass speed.
We have a number of comments coming through and a few questions, not necessarily specific to the topic, but it does circle back around to superchargers.
Okay.
Let's see here. Justin Hall says John Hall, sorry, probably a dumb question, but is there a max RPM for the Gen 3? I plan on spinning my new engine to 8,500.
I think you can talk about that.
A max. So I look at this I want to spin it as slow as possible while making, because I want to be as efficient as possible. So that's not, 8,500 with your motor, you're going to be fine.
Didn't you just tell me to put the smaller pulley on your car, though, one time?
I did. I still didn't think I was going crazy, though.
Oh, yeah.
But it will spin it as fast as you will spin it. You are able to spin it as fast as you need to
make the power.
Yeah. What?
As long as it's cooled properly.
What pulley was on Track Attack?
2, 4, and 15%.
Yeah. So even that's not insane.
The person who was asking earlier about supercharger versus his turbo, he says he has a 16.5 liter on a 70 millimeter turbo with 12 psi. I made 768 to the wheel, 702. He's looking to switch to a supercharger.
That would be easy.
That's easy power for.
Yeah.
And then he came back later on and said, what options would best suit me? I'd love to make around 800 to the wheel without a lot of money being spent like I had to do with my turbo.
So what are you not happy with the turbo so we can make sure we don't repeat the same mistakes with the supercharger?
And then came back and says, is it possible to switch the supercharger off my 19 C7 ZR1 with one of yours, and which would you recommend?
Get with us later and we can talk a little bit about the Chevy supercharger upgrades, like the 2650 that Magnuson has and stuff like that. But to talk about the supercharger versus turbo, you're going to want to run our Gen 3R supercharger. You may want to consider going to the smaller monoblade throttle body. It'll make a little more power than the Twin 69. And really the only part of the equation that's left over is E85 is going to make power
system stuff
safely and easily. And then pulley-wise, a 79 and 82. And 82 will make 800 on corn very, not even trying.
Yeah, you've got a really reasonable goal.
Yeah, I suspect you may already have a fuel system in the car. You may already have it on corn. Your numbers with the turbo are kind of middle of the road, so I can't say for sure. And that's that, and you'll have instant response, instant torque, and whatever turns you off about the turbo, I don't think you'll have any of those issues with the supercharger.
Will getting rid of the shrouding issue with my GT350 valves in the heads help when running it on a Coyote block? Not sure if there's a way to machine them to help with airflow better.
So this is a conversation we've had a lot of times when putting Rebecca's engines together. And the bigger bore is the best way to unshroud the valve. You can notch the top of the bore a little bit. That's got to be done very carefully. So, you know, Rebecca's car, her old engine made decent power with GT350 heads and some off-the-shelf cams. I don't know that it was ever entirely right, though.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that as supercharger technology improved, it started to show some of the inefficiencies and deficiencies of that engine too.
Yeah, so we don't really have a great answer on the GT350 heads and the valve shrouding and some of those little nuances.
The person who has the turbo, and you asked, what are you not happy with? Turbo lag.
Yep, you will not have that.
No turbo lag around here on our superchargers.
So that's what he's not happy with. Richard says, I have a 13 F-150 second gen supercharger with an 82 millimeter pulley, 58 pound injectors, stainless headers, and cats next year. I would like to upgrade further. What would you recommend while still running 92 octane?
What size pulley did he say?
82.
82. You could go down to a 79 or a 75. The 11 to 14 F-150 just really needs better intake cams. They're really, there's some boost and tuning stuff that I don't like about the 11 to 14 F-150 cams. They make the engine more restrictive, so boost is higher and the motor becomes more knock prone, and they don't take a lot of timing. They knock and they detonate easily, so you have to be very careful with them, and they still don't make a lot of power.
Brandon says, I've always noticed a dip in the dyno graphs on 5 liters around 7,200 RPM. It typically recovers from this in higher RPMs.
Higher torque in one area and lower in other areas. At the top end, though, you're usually going to see more gentle curves and dips, and if it dips on the top end, it should not really ever recover. If it does recover, you have some tuning reason as to why it wasn't smooth power delivery.
Justin Sutherland.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, Justin.
Talking about superchargers and technology. Wants to know what's after the Gen 3R. I know you've been up to something, Justin. What's in the future after the Gen 3R? Is the Gen 3R going to be in production for a while before the next blower comes out? Is it going to be a Gen 4?
So, just so everybody knows, we kind of are getting sick of the gen terminology around here. There will be, and you've already started to see some different naming methodologies. To that effect, though, the Gen 3R is here to stay for a long time.
That's a good darn blower.
Yeah, there will be different versions of it tuned for different horsepower levels, and there's always trade-offs that way. So, we've talked about doing some stuff for your car, Justin. If it's going to continue to stay around 1,000, 11, 12, we can pick the option that's best for that range. If you want to build it for 12 to 14, there's a different set of options. If you want to be 800 to 1,000, that still fits into that lower end option. But I know what he's getting at, because I was talking to him like, man, you've had this Gen 2 or Gen 2R in your car forever, and the Gen 3s have been out for a year and a half. When are you going to upgrade, Justin? And so he just wants to make sure that if he upgrades...
FOMO.
What'd you say?
FOMO.
FOMO. What's
Fear
that?
of missing out.
Oh, I didn't know that acronym.
You didn't know that?
No.
I feel like I've told you that before.
FOMO. No, I don't remember it at least. I'm
full
kind
of
of dense
acronyms today.
sometimes.
Am I?
Not you, just in general. We had them in the meeting.
Oh,
earlier.
with them.
Oh,
Chuck jumped online. He's like, Justin about to give away some secrets. ...
Well, I think what I want to tell Justin Sutherland is that what we're working on is the 1819 supercharger kit, but the Gen 3R for what Justin's doing is still an incredible option.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll suit your needs. It'll do what you want it to do. we'd be really happy with it.
With the TVS rotor pack being so efficient in smaller sizes, i.e. the 2.3 and 265, is there an expectation of a different rotor pack soon?
We're really happy with the 265 rotor pack.
8 O's on a 265.
On the old 265.
Yep.
Justin Sutherland says, came back and said, looks like Gen 3R, it is Mustang week.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if we'd see you there. I guess that confirms that.
Right around the corner.
Let's see what else we have here. How much will a VMP ice tank help on my 12 GT? It's got a VMP Gen 2R Stage 1 6R80 with an 82 millimeter pulley. It's already running 10.51 at 134, looking to lower IATs at the track.
You know,
it will help with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you install one of our ice tanks, you want to make sure you put a switch on the intercooler pump, because all that ice will be gone by the time you drive up to the line. Rebecca has a technique for how she uses ice tanks and stuff. You want to tell them what it is?
It's drove by neuroses, predominantly. So my switch for my pump is up by where my rearview mirror is. I can see there's a light on it. I can see the light out of my peripheral vision. I wait until I pull in through the water box. And once I'm through the water box but not started my burnout yet, I turn on the switch. I do my burnout. I look up and make sure that light's still on. Simultaneously, I'm driving through the line because I do my burnouts through the line. When I'm ready to back up, I look up again and make sure that light is still on. I then look at my tuner and see what my IATs are. I back up, I stage, I look up again, or pre-stage, I look up again and make sure the light is still on. I look at my IATs again, and then I launch the car. Well, then I finish staging and launch the car.
I'm really, really impressed because she makes that happen so fast. I didn't even know she was doing all of that.
Oh yeah, it is like the one time that I didn't do it recently. I mean, out of 1,000 runs, maybe I didn't do it once.
The part that I wanted him to hear was that she doesn't turn on the intercooler pump till right before she starts her burnout.
Yeah, I save that ice.
Yeah, and then the burnout's pretty easy on things.
And my burnout is super duper short. Like I started in second gear, I can't even shift to third gear.
So by the time she's up to the line, she's actually got nice cold water circulated.
Yep. And I see that reflected. That's why I keep on looking at the IATs. That way I know if a pump's failed, or if something has happened, or if I failed to turn on the pump. I have all of these cross checks to make sure that everything is working the way that it's supposed to be.
So yeah, that's all about ice tanks.
And it's integral to cooling at my level.
Someone says Cleater McSkeeter needs a lighted intercooler pump switch.
It will save your day.
Did Cletus forget to turn on his intercooler pump?
People do.
Cletus has done so many things, and a lot of them he's come out of unscathed, or not too badly scathed.
Redline Riot says, hey Justin, I messaged you guys on Facebook and was told since I bought my N-Gauge from you and credits that if I were to switch my tune to you guys, I wouldn't have to buy credits again. Is that correct?
Credits are licensed by the tuner that tunes your vehicle. So with the N-Gauge, we have to license the credit when we generate the tune. If you had an MVP i2, they do things a little bit differently, or an RTD, but it's odd that you bought credits from us but didn't have us tune the vehicle. So if we're going to tune the vehicle again, we would have to incorporate credits into the cost of the tuning. We might be able to work with you on that. The best thing to do is get with the tuning department and tell us more about the situation.
I'm octane limited to 93 or 93 with boosting, and I have a 17 GT Roush 2300 with 67 millimeter throttle body, PMAS 79 millimeter pulley, FIC 1000s, and a triple pass heat exchanger. Is upgrading to the Gen 3 or 3R worth the cost for the gain?
And how much power did he say he was making?
He did not say what he was making. He says he's on a Roush 2300 with a 17 GT.
And did he say pulley size or how much boost he's making?
He said pulley size is 79 millimeter on 93.
He's not octane limited.
93 octane limited.
Yeah.
So the Gen 3 is going to make another like 50 to 70.
It's kind of a good way to compensate for that octane limitation, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, a Gen 1 Coyote with this 92 millimeter pulley made 660 rear wheel horsepower. So take a Gen 2 Coyote, you know, it's not uncommon for us to see around 700 wheel with a Gen 3 or Gen 3R on pump gas and low boost.
Matt McLean says one more for the 18 plus supercharger. Are you still expecting the release by end of summer?
We are, yes.
I'm being asked, how is the development for Gen 3R for Terminator coming along?
We're looking at it.
I think I said lock it in. I don't know that anybody locked it in.
You know, we have a really good option for the Terminators. Brett with Joker's Performance has actually turned out one of the first CNC ported Gen 3s for Cobra. His previous ones were hand ports, and he's improved a lot with the CNC porting. I actually have some teaser photos we can post on social media.
Yeah, and I mean, the nice thing about, you can be a great hand porter, but to be able to duplicate it again and replicate it again and again and again and get those consistent results every single time, the CNC, whether it's with your blowers or with intake manifolds or anything else, the CNC is the way to go.
We have another 18 question, 18 for F-150 5 liters. Do you have any plans on a kit time frame for that?
That'll be the same as the Mustang.
It's going to be simultaneous.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Chad Dowd's on the line, says, hey everyone.
Hey, that pretty baby girl is here.
Says, I don't know about Rebecca, but I'm ready to be racing and taking the W's. Looking forward to seeing her out and breaking records.
I'm looking forward to doing it.
Ron Seeley says, I have a Roush Base 2 on my 11 F-150. I'm upgrading my fuel and exhaust systems. What's the next supercharger upgrade without hurting the stock bottom end? Thank you.
You know, I'm just going to say throw one of our throttle bodies on it, have us tune it until you build that engine and address some of the issues I talked about earlier in the show.
Yeah, cams.
Yeah. I mean, if it was a 15 to 17 F-150, those things are so much better off than the 11 to 14s.
The gentleman who was asking about Gen 3R for Terminator says, was the CNC porting on the Gen 2 or Gen 3 VMP for the Termi, Justin? And who you said did a good job at it, and who did you say did a good job at it?
Joker.
So it's on the Gen 3. It's Joker's Performance. And he is going to offer some CNC porting for some of our older superchargers too.
You're fine, come on.
Like the Gen 2 Cobra and stuff. So that's out there too.
Eli Klein says, do you guys have any TH400 cars? I'm pushing fluid out the vent and I can't figure out why. Trans is brand new, RPM trans, and brand new PTC converter. Any theories? It even leaks at a normal low RPMs.
Catch can, big catch can.
Yeah, a big catch, like bigger than that can, catch can, like that basically. Yeah, that's what you need, and they leak.
They just leak.
I mean, a puddle like this, after sitting for no amount of time at all.
We got a new trailer, and I was actually thinking if I can like build like a catch area into the floor.
A drain.
For it.
Now, it'll also tell you if something's wrong, because it'll leak like a crazy thing if there's something up to. So just know that they leak. Get used to the smell of trans fluid. I don't know what else to tell you. But yes, my car's a turbo 400 car.
Yeah, and you just kind of have to manage it.
Yeah. Make sure everything's sealed well, and then just trust that your leak is just a normal turbo 400 leak. And keep trans fluid with you.
Janssen says, when tuning a Gen 1 F-150, is it possible for the tune to pick up on the fuel being used?
So, yes. I mean, whichever fuel you're using, we can pick up power, response, drivability.
Oh, okay. I was not sure
shifting.
what that question meant exactly.
I kind of just interpreted it.
I read it like
does it know? Does it know? Yeah.
What fuel was being used? That's the way I read it.
That's the way that I understood
to me, but
it.
Janssen also says, nice job with Chucky at the track, so close to 10s, trans brake, and it's running 10s.
People want that trans brake on Chucky. I want it so bad.
How much power can you safely make on a Gen 2 Coyote and it live?
I don't know.
Track attacks
Put
made.
a 1141 through it and then drive it to Starbucks.
Rebecca did it. Joe did it, and then Rebecca finished it.
I wasn't scared.
Ain't scared.
What's the best throttle body for a Gen 1 fully built motor?
What are you doing with it?
Yeah.
Like, is it NA? Is it, like, you can fully build an NA car.
Let's see. The gentleman who was asking about the tuning says, oh, okay, the reason I asked is because my local tuner bought the N-Gauge and credits from us. I was told, but I want to switch to you guys since you guys actually have good tuning.
Okay, so if your tuner bought the credits in the N-Gauge from us, those credits essentially belong to him. They're not transferable back to us.
And then he came back later and said, I did the credits to keep my track key, but rarely use it. If I just buy a regular tune from you, can I always buy credits later on to tune the track key, or do I have to buy all up front?
So once we start tuning, once we have you on file as a customer, we essentially own the credits and the rights to tune your car, so we can continue to tune it at that point.
Nastang says clutch may not be heavy, talking about clutches earlier, but I know what is the 2020 GT500. Holy balls!
Somebody's been watching Stang Mode's videos.
Stephen Bowen says that look in Rebecca's eye. Thought Justin was going to get a black eye for talking about age.
I still know how to say dumb stuff and fire her up.
David Sosa says, how familiar are you guys with tuning turbo 3.7 liter Mustangs? I have a 69 millimeter turbo with a 360 stall, 3600 stall, sorry, on the 6R80 and stock sealed motor. I have power goals for 600 to the wheel. I'm wondering if a tune from you guys at VMP could potentially get me there while on E85.
I think the biggest issue is the power goal is very lofty. Yeah. So it's, I'll be honest, we haven't done a whole lot of 3.7 stuff. We can pretty much tune anything. It's just a matter of the time and effort to get 600 wheel out of that setup is going to be very high, and we would just need you to pay accordingly for it. And if it blows up, you know, you're going for 600 wheel out of a V6.
Out of a 3.7 liter displacement engine.
Yeah.
Nessing says, what we've learned today on Burnout Box, details are important. Please don't say FBO.
Our new FBO Gen 15 supercharger for the 1819 Mustang.
Oh, good Lord.
Just so you know, there's another one asking about 18 GTs. Nothing
it's coming,
specific.
And it's awesome.
Yep, we're working on it every day.
My back hurt
Even
says...
Sundays.
Oh, sorry. Back,
yes.
Back my hurt says, if I smack my cats with a hammer while revving the Mustang up, will the stuff inside them blow clean out the tailpipes?
I couldn't tell you that.
I'm sorry, that kind of made me laugh.
It is kind of funny. Blow the kitty cats out.
So the gentleman is talking about the 2020. It says, haven't been watching Staying Mode. I'll reserve my comments about him, but Ford fully released dimensional specs for the new 500.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then Nassing says, I guess he talked about them then. He's talking about Staying Mode. Should I do cat deletes or X pipe on my Boss? Stock H pipe with side pipe restrictors removed and Roush axle backs is the setup right now.
Please, 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 please. If you take the converters off that thing with Roush axle backs, no one around you will be able to hear.
No one around you will be able to be around you.
Yeah.
With that said, we are pretty well caught up.
All right. Well, Carter, come up here. You want to say hi to everybody?
Okay.
Or bye.
This is our oldest son, Carter. He wants to say hi. And
Larry
then bye.
Larry Lewis says, you two look great and happy.
Aw, thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey. So, thanks for watching Burnout Box, everybody.
Do you want him to say it?
Oh, you want to go ahead and tell him?
Thank you for watching Burnout Box. Please like, share, and subscribe.
We'll see you next time.
You did great.
Okay, bye.
And Rebecca's Engine's here.
Bye. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.